In 2017, the case of TV host and model Chen Ke Xiang shocked Taiwan, not only because of the cruelty of the perpetrator, but also due to the heartbreaking loss of a young talent. Chen Ke Xiang's passing left a lasting sorrow in many hearts. Today, let's turn back time to delve deeper into this case, exploring everything from the crime's execution to the perpetrator's sophisticated tactics to conceal his actions. This story will take you from one surprise to another, with unexpected twists during the investigation. A strange message from the younger sister. On March 1st, 2017, Chen Ke Xiang, a jewelry store employee in Taiwan, made several calls without reaching her younger sister. Growing anxious, she took leave from work to investigate. Ke Xiang and her twin sister, Chen Ke Xiang, hailed from Dongshan Township in Yilan County. With their good looks and fit figures, they decided to move to New Taipei to build their careers. Renting a house in Banqiao District, Ke Xiang, known for her striking appearance, was voted the most beautiful employee in Taipei's media industry, while her younger sister, Ke Xiang, was a popular internet model who had advertised for sports games and was famous in the otaku community. To Ke Xiang was a hardworking girl, always getting up early to diligently prepare for work. Early in the morning on March 1st, Ke Xiang woke to find her sister ready and about to go out. At 10:29 a.m., Ke Xiang left home in a cheerful mood, mentioning she had an afternoon tea appointment at 3 p.m. and was looking forward to drinking tea with her sister. But by 4 p.m., with no word from Ke Xiang started to worry. She made multiple calls but still couldn't reach her. This was unusual, as her sister always kept her phone with her. When Ke Xiang picked up her phone to call again, the screen suddenly lit up with a message from Ke Xiang. The message's content was strange and didn't match Ke Xiang's usual tone, with several phonetic characters she rarely used. A sense of dread crept over Ke Xiang. After taking leave, she immediately went to the police station to report the incident. The police quickly began investigating and found that Ke Xiang's phone was in Taichung City, over 100 kilometers from Taipei. Upon hearing this, Ke Xiang and her boyfriend headed to Taichung that night. Along the way, she contacted friends in her sister's industry to gather information. She knew Ke Xiang had accepted a filming job, introduced by model Yang Si-hui, suggesting that the last person Ke Xiang contacted might have been Liang Si-hui. However, without Si-hui's contact information, Ke Xiang had to leave a private message on her social media account. Waiting in vain, Ke Xiang decided to go to Liang Si-hui's house, where Si-hui's mother informed her that Si-hui had gone to Taichung with her boyfriend. Finally, at 2 a.m. on March 2nd, Ke Xiang managed to reach Liang Si-hui by phone. When asked about her sister, Si-hui stated that she hadn't seen Ke Xiang as she had been out with her boyfriend, and she assured Ke Xiang that Ke Xiang was surely with the producer. When Ke Xiang asked who the producer was, Si-hui became impatient and provided a phone number. Upon receiving the number, Ke Xiang quickly called but couldn't get through. Disappointed, she checked social media, only to see that Si-hui had posted a complaint, hinting that Ke Xiang's inquiries about Ke Xiang were ridiculous and that the suspicion of her kidnapping Ke Xiang was absurd. Angry and frustrated, Ke Xiang knew only that her sister's phone was in Taichung, yet had no idea of her whereabouts or what had happened. Meanwhile, Si-hui, the person most connected to the situation, seemed indifferent and withheld information. A clue from the hotel housekeeper. By 8 a.m. on March 2nd, a desperate Ke Xiang tried calling her sister again. After a long wait, just as she was about to hang up, the call unexpectedly connected. Eager to speak, she was surprised to hear a stranger's voice. The caller identified himself as a housekeeper at the Evergreen Laurel Hotel in Taichung, explaining that he had just found Ke Xiang's phone and was about to hand it over to the manager when Ke Xiang's call came through. After confirming the hotel's address, Ke Xiang quickly hung up and rushed to the hotel, thinking that if her sister's phone was there, Ke Xiang might be too. However, when she asked the hotel staff for help locating her sister, they refused, citing guest privacy policies. With no other options, Ke Xiang called the police. A few minutes later, Taichung police arrived at the hotel and joined Ke Xiang in her search. Although distressed, she explained the situation in detail. After hearing her story, the police contacted the hotel management and finally obtained a guest list. As Ke Xiang scanned the list, she couldn't find her sister's name. Surprisingly, though, she noticed that Liang Sihui, who had claimed not to have seen Ke Xiang, was on the list. Evidence at the Evergreen Laurel Hotel. The police, suspicious of Sihui's statement that she hadn't seen Ke Xiang, grew more doubtful since both Sihui's and Ke Xiang's phones had been at the hotel simultaneously. They decided to investigate Liang Sihui discreetly. Sihui was from Nangang District, Taipei. Her mother was a pastry chef from Guangdong Province, and her father was a police officer in Taipei. Coming from a wealthy family, Sihui gained internet fame following a public dispute with her ex-boyfriend, a popular Taiwanese blogger. 2 years earlier, in early 2017, she started dating a new boyfriend named Chen Yu, who also came from a well-to-do family, and their relationship appeared to be going well. The police found no suspicious evidence against Sihui, but when they began investigating her boyfriend, Chen Yu, who was also on the hotel guest list, unusual details started to emerge. At this point, Liang Sihui and Chen Yu became the main suspects in the mysterious disappearance of Chen Ke Xiang. At 12:45 p.m. on March 2nd, a day after Chen Ke Xiang went missing, police arrested Liang Sihui and Chen Yu at the hotel. When they entered room 122, where the two were staying, they discovered Ke Xiang's insurance card, driver's license, ID card, and a set of her keys submerged in a water bucket in the bathroom. Ke Xiang's sister, Chen Ke Xiang, confirmed these items belonged to her missing sister. Additionally, another police team found more of Ke Xiang's clothing and personal items, as well as Chen Yu's credit card. Shortly after, they reviewed the hotel security footage and were surprised to see Chen Yu leaving the room around 2 a.m. on March 2nd, heading to a storage room near the elevator, and returning just a minute later. It was in this storage room that a housekeeper had found Ke Xiang's phone. These pieces of evidence made it difficult for the two suspects to deny contact with Ke Xiang. The interrogation duel, the culprit revealed. During the interrogation, both Liang Sihui and Chen Yu reacted strangely. When asked about her relationship with Ke Xiang, Sihui showed indifference, stating that they were close friends but claiming ignorance as to why Ke Xiang's phone appeared in the hotel. Her lack of concern puzzled the police, as a true friend would be worried about Ke Xiang's safety. Meanwhile, Chen Yu spun an implausible story. He claimed that Ke Xiang had left the hotel after receiving a job offer from a photographer named Yang, forgetting to take her bag, which he held on to. The police quickly contacted this photographer and discovered he had been in Hangzhou for the past 2 months. Chen Yu's lie was exposed instantly. Chen Yu then changed his story, saying that Ke Xiang had argued with her boyfriend over the phone in front of him and Sihui, then left the hotel alone in a saddened state. However, when police questioned Ke Xiang's boyfriend, they learned that their relationship was stable, with no recent conflicts. Chen Yu's lie was, once again, exposed. The investigation hit a wall. with Si Hui claiming ignorance and Cheng Yu continually lying to conceal something. After some consideration, the police decided to try a new tactic. On the evening of March 2nd, police placed Si Hui and Cheng Yu in separate vehicles, informing them that they had located where Ke Xiang was being held and were en route. In reality, this was a ruse intended to apply psychological pressure and observe their reactions. During the drive, the police secretly monitored the suspect's expressions. Si Hui occasionally gazed out the window in silence, while Cheng Yu sat with his head down, appearing deep in thought. To increase the pressure, the officer driving Cheng Yu began telling him a fabricated story. He recounted a past case in which a beautiful girl went missing for an extended period. One night, a man suddenly saw the ghostly figure of the girl in a red dress, which frightened him so much that he fainted. Later, it was discovered that the man himself was the one who had killed her. The story was told in the hope that this psychological pressure might elicit a reaction from Cheng Yu, potentially revealing a crucial clue in the mysterious disappearance of Chen Ke Xiang. A few minutes after hearing the story from the officer, Cheng Yu slowly lifted his head, staring into the rearview mirror, and said he wanted a cigarette. The officer handed him one, and amid the smoke, Cheng Yu quietly admitted that he knew where Chen Ke Xiang was. Immediately, both police vehicles changed direction, heading toward the Yuan Chan building in Nangang District, Taipei. In the early hours of March 3rd, police lights flashed outside the Yuan Chan building. Officers from Taipei and Taichung gathered as they followed Cheng Yu and Liang Si Hui into an abandoned underground shopping mall. Guided by Cheng Yu's steps, they entered a dark room, where he pointed to a wooden panel. Two officers carefully opened it, revealing Ke Xiang, who had been missing for 2 days, curled up on the floor. Her hair was disheveled, her neck tightly bound by a belt, and there were no signs of life. The police turned to face Si Hui and Cheng Yu. Si Hui collapsed in fear, trembling uncontrollably, while Cheng Yu continued to stare coldly at his girlfriend. Both suspects were immediately taken back to the station for interrogation. Inconsistencies in the suspect's statements. During the interrogation, Si Hui, pale and disoriented, repeatedly claimed that she and Ke Xiang were close friends. She said she had introduced Ke Xiang to the job, and everything initially went well. However, moments later, she insisted she hadn't seen Ke Xiang on March 1st and didn't understand why Ke Xiang's body was found in the underground mall. The police noticed the inconsistencies in Si Hui's story and decided to question Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu claimed that his girlfriend, Si Hui, had been jealous of Ke Xiang. Si Hui believed she was more attractive than Ke Xiang, but resented her friend's greater popularity. When Ke Xiang landed an advertising contract that Si Hui had wanted, her envy grew. On March 1st, Si Hui allegedly told Cheng Yu that she had tricked Ke Xiang into coming to the abandoned mall and asked him to teach her a lesson. Cheng Yu admitted that, in an attempt to prove his love for Si Hui, he followed her wishes, committing the crime under her watchful and excited gaze. Cheng Yu also revealed that the watch Si Hui was wearing belonged to Ke Xiang. When the police visited Si Hui's holding cell, they saw her wearing the watch. After photographing it, Ke Xiang confirmed that the watch indeed belonged to her sister. To solidify the evidence, police reviewed surveillance footage from the Yuan Chan building from the day of the crime. The video showed a man and a woman descending to the basement that afternoon. When confronted with the footage, Cheng Yu admitted the man was himself, and the woman beside him was Si Hui. However, Si Hui immediately denied it, shouting that it wasn't her. Using technical means, police discovered that Si Hui's phone signal had indeed been present at the scene on that day. Additionally, the strange phonetic message sent to Ke Xiang was confirmed to have originated from Si Hui's phone. At the scene, police found a pair of the victim's shoes, 2 face masks, and an empty water bottle. Chen Yu stated that the masks belonged to him and Si Hui, and the water bottle had been purchased by Si Hui on the way. The police sent these items to a lab for DNA testing and examined the shoe prints at the scene. The results showed only Chen Yu's footprints, with no trace of Si Hui's, raising doubts about her actual presence. While Chen Yu's confession was compelling, the absence of Si Hui's footprints led the police to question whether she was really there. Additionally, the belt around the victim's neck was identified as a strap from Chen Yu's backpack, suggesting he had dragged the body alone, without assistance. As they awaited the DNA results, the police faced mounting media pressure to resolve the case promptly. On March 4th, Liang Sihui and Chen Yu were detained, and the media extensively covered the case. Si Hui's past was also exposed. Despite being the daughter of a police officer, she had a poor academic record and a controversial lifestyle. The public was outraged by the possibility that she might have incited her boyfriend to kill her best friend. Exposing the tricks of the perpetrator. Just a few days later, the case took a surprising turn. When the police met with Liang Sihui's mother, she provided them with a copy of a security camera recording showing that Sihui had been at home all day on March 1st, only leaving around 6 p.m. This revelation confused the police, as Ke Xiang's time of death had been determined to be around 1:30 p.m. on March 1st. This meant that Sihui could not have been the killer. Upon reviewing the footage from the crime scene, the police realized that the dress worn by the woman accompanying Chen Yu in the basement was actually Ke Xiang's, not Si Hui's. They suddenly understood that the woman who had entered the basement with Chen Yu was, in fact, the victim, Ke Xiang. Laboratory test results later confirmed that none of Si Hui's DNA was found on the evidence collected at the scene, further proving she was not present at the crime scene that day. However, Si Hui's phone signal had been detected at the location, raising the police's suspicions. After speaking with Si Hui's mother, the police uncovered a crucial detail. Si Hui had lost her phone on the day of her father's funeral, and she hadn't bought a new one since. Her family had been communicating with her through her boyfriend, Chen Yu. The police speculated that Chen Yu had taken Si Hui's phone, kept her SIM card, and used it to fabricate evidence. He had even mimicked her texting style to send messages to Ke Xiang's sister, leading the police to mistakenly believe that Si Hui was involved. The case of Chen Yu, the perpetrator who murdered internet celebrity Chen Ke Xiang, shocked the public and exposed dark truths about his past. The watch that Si Hui had been wearing, initially suspected to belong to Ke Xiang, turned out to be a ploy by Chen Yu to mislead the public into thinking Si Hui was involved. On March 6, 2017, Liang Sihui was released after the Taipei prosecutor reconstructed Chen Yu's entire crime based on the evidence. During the investigation, it was revealed that on February 28th, Chen Yu had secretly logged into Si Hui's social media account and sent a message to Ke Xiang, inviting her to the Yuan Chan building on March 1st. Under the pretense of a filming job, in the basement, he attacked and killed Ke Xiang, then took her personal items to create the illusion that she was still alive. The story of Chen Yu's life was also brought to light. His real name was Gao Dingyu, and he came from a wealthy but notorious family. Spoiled by his mother, he had turned into a reckless and violent person with a history of abuse and fraud. After changing his name to Chen Yu, he crafted an image of himself as a wealthy heir, deceiving even his girlfriend, Si Hui, and pursuing Ke Xiang. His deceit and manipulation were all to sustain his depraved lifestyle. The conclusion of a tragic and controversial case. On June 20th, 2017, the prosecutor recommended the death penalty for Chen Yu due to the brutal nature of his crime. However, the court ruled that Cheng Yu's act of murder was impulsive, not extraordinarily cruel, and he was instead sentenced to life imprisonment. Hearing the verdict, Cheng Yu smiled, knowing he had escaped the death penalty. Criminal experts suggested that Cheng Yu had deliberately tried to manipulate the police, attempting to frame Liang Sihui as the mastermind to reduce his own culpability. Even after being imprisoned, Cheng Yu continued to seek sentence reductions, but all efforts were unsuccessful. While Cheng Yu paid for his crime, Liang Sihui, who was once suspected and falsely accused, had to face severe consequences. Despite being exonerated, her career was ruined. Although she didn't directly harm Chen Ke Xiang, she wasn't entirely blameless in the case. Sihui always claimed she and Ke Xiang were good friends, but her cold demeanor during the investigation raised many questions. Why didn't she recognize that the woman seen in surveillance footage with Cheng Yu in the basement was actually Ke Xiang? If they truly had a close relationship, and why did she and Cheng Yu use the victim's credit card to dine and stay in luxurious hotels, acting as though nothing unusual had happened? This suspicious behavior led the police to question Sihui's involvement further. She appeared to want to conceal the fact that her boyfriend had met Ke Xiang, attempting to deny any connection to the case. After being cleared of all charges, Sihui sued the prosecutor and received a compensation of 20,000 TWD. 3 months later, she returned to work as a broadcaster, closing the chapter on this tragic and controversial case. The case ended with a life sentence for Cheng Yu, although many felt that the punishment was insufficient for the crime he committed. Nonetheless, Cheng Yu would spend the rest of his life in prison, facing the delayed consequences of his actions. This case didn't delve deeply into the specific brutality inflicted on the victim, but demonstrated that initial conclusions are not always the truth. What we see on the surface can be just the tip of the iceberg, and the truth is sometimes more complex than we can imagine. What do you think about today's case? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Decoder Box so you don't miss any thrilling cases from around the world. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.